Shukor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Ka Jaka Sumar Nong Pang ka Supercare Hospital, kalayo ay Jingithuh Pura na ka National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. Ka NABH kadi ka kanuhon jang Quality Council of India, berikmi ik Jaka Sumar hakaleng kari. Hadian ka jing panbiang hagirukom trekam ka Supercare Hospital kalayo ay Jingithuh Pura, daka full NABH menhaka arpu khandai tarik unai lur arhajar arpu ar, barkani ka Jingithuh kan trekam hado ka laipau tarik unai lur arhajar arpu Rio. Kani jing ai jing itu e kuru kom tre kam ko hospital kan ai jing mentoi ki nong tre bekin nang yo shu ki jing pentebet ha kuru kom tre bat kum ju ru ye ki bawan sumar na mar ken yo e jing sumar ka ba company bat ka ba kham shngan.
Council of India, which we know as QCI, which sets up to establish and operate accreditation programs for healthcare organizations. NABH is an institutional member as well as a board member of International Society of Quality in Healthcare, which we know as ISQA, and the hospitals accredited by NABH get international recognition. NABH is the highest benchmark standard for hospital quality in India. Standards of NABH were developed by QCI initially on the lines of international standards like JCI, ACHS, and Canadian Hospital Standards. The full NABH standards have since then undergone 5 different revisions, and is now seen as an advanced and very practical set of standards which are relevant to India's unique healthcare system requirements. And since it's also accepted by ISQA, the International Society of Quality Assurance in Healthcare, it becomes an international accreditation on par with the world's best. There are mainly 2 versions of the standards for allopathic hospitals. The full NABH, suitable for large specialty and tertiary care level hospitals. And the second, which is the entry level NABH, meant mainly for smaller hospitals who are finding it difficult to comply with the more stringent requirements of the full NABH standards. Our NABH journey started on August 2019, where we first registered for the NABH entry-level certification. Our nation and the whole world had to then endure a strenuous couple of years with the COVID-19 pandemic, and challenging as it was for healthcare workers. We got our NABH entry-level certification on the 5th of October 2021. The vigor of our superhuman staff and the management's commitment towards quality did not allow us to take a back seat. Our final inspection was scheduled for 3 days, that is the 17th, 18th and the 19th of 2022. The inspection was carried out by 3 seasoned NABH assessors who did a thorough examination of all departments of the hospital. Assessors was done with reference to the 10 chapters of NABH standards, which include access assessment and continuity of care, care of patients, management of medication, patient rights and education, hospital infection control, patient safety and quality improvement, responsibilities of the management, facility management and safety, human resource management, information management system. These are the 10 chapters of the 5th edition of NABH standards. All our hard work paid off when we secured the full NABH accreditation on 29 September 2022. This certification is valid till 30th September 2026. Supercare Hospital becomes the first and only hospital in Meghalaya to get the full NABH accreditation. Patients are the biggest beneficiaries from both the full and the entry-level certification, as it results in a high quality of care and patient safety. Patients are served by medical staff who are credentialed, The rights of patients are respected and protected. Patient satisfaction is also regularly evaluated. Quality accreditations and certifications also benefit the staff of the hospital as it provides for continuous learning, a good working environment.
International standard, there's no doubt about it. And if you see the costing, for example, in endoscopy here, costing is about 1,500 or up to 1,900 depending. In Mumbai, for this, with the same equipment, Apollo will charge you nothing less. In Guwahati, will charge you nothing less than 3,500. Number one first. And you go to Mumbai, to a metro city, using the same equipment, they charge nothing less than 5,000 for just an endoscopy with a few things. So almost 2.5 times the cost. People here, I realize, don't know what they're getting. The equipment also costs a lot of money and a lot of maintenance necessary, right? But the people here don't understand exactly what they're getting benefiting, because the people who go outside, they go outside. They know. When they come back to us, they say, oh, it's very cheap. But the people in the middle class who don't go out and they feel that they're paying too much here, that's because, number one first, is that they don't take insurance. They should, all people I feel should be insured. They should be insured by these medical insurance companies because it covers all the costs of every individual. Insurance now is the mainstay in all mega cities because that's why they don't have, when they don't have to pay in the pocket, they don't bother about the cost. Here in Meghalaya, the main problem is that people come, even the middle class families, they don't have insurance papers also, nothing. They're not insured. They should insure themselves. That is where I think from the press side also they should push that our people should get insured. In fact, it was so strange that this Meghalaya health insurance scheme also is not accepted by a lot of rural people. You know, it's very, with some villagers they say no, we don't want it. You know, just day for yesterday also one patient said, I said you take it. It'll benefit you by 28,000. You have to pay 2,000 more. I said no, you don't want it. You know, that's up. Yeah.
In fact, since you all press people are here, I request you, all of you, to take 2 points to the government, and it is not only for Supercare. One part is the MHI's registration. Now I request the government through you that they should have MHI's registration in almost all the districts. Now what is happening presently is this, that at least in Shillong there are only 2 places where the patient can go and register. Either they are overworked or villagers don't know, and this is a big issue.
She handed it over to me and said, it was totally landlocked actually. There's no, this road you see now is man-made. And all this started in '96, filling the road up and conceiving the idea to make a hospital here one day. But that took money. And at that time, even a few lakh rupees I used to earn or make a small amount to keep aside to do some site development here. So this continued over a lot of long years, and the road started going up. The road you see existing now was totally a sort of a precipice at one time. And we raised it up to about 32 feet from the ground level to what it is now existing. It's a multi-staged project where it took a lot of resilience and a lot of sort of commitment. So the main thing was the entry first. And it took us, I think, from '96 till 2008 till we were able to satisfy that it had come up about 20-25 feet. Then after that started the grid to make to strengthen the road on both sides. So you see the road as it is now. The thing is that the main thing is the entrance first. So there are pillars on both sides of this road, like the construction of this house. And there's a steel netting lying 12 feet below, and there's a bridge underneath, which nobody can see now. All this is unthing. So once we had concluded with that, then we came and thought, okay, let's start the hospital. And with the amount of funds we had, it had to go slow. So way back in 2011, we prepared a plan exactly how to go about it. And we started off with the nurses' quarters, which is lying behind here, which we completed in 1 year, by 2013. That time I was already in the Supercare hospital, which I set up, that small one which I rented out. And with the money we generated from there, all the money, the profit was put into this place. One thing we have the best equipment, which is the power at international standards now. We have made sure that the equipment here is at par with all the national and international hospitals in the world. There's one thing. So, and these equipment, all the equipment is calibrated every 6 months. NABH doesn't allow you to have equipment that's not calibrated up to a BP instrument. They make sure you have to give a report every 6 months that all the equipment in the hospital, whether it's a ventilator, monitor, an endoscope, a lab equipment, a blood pressure equipment, even a pulse oximeter has to be calibrated. And that is one of the things that NABH has really given us. You know, when we say that we are accredited to NABH, this is the thing that we have attained at all costs, that it will be 100% beneficial for the patient, because this indirectly it benefits the patient, that your equipment is running 100%. Any breakdown also in the hospital, any machine breakdown has to be documented and a report has to be given to NABH. Any breakdown in any equipment. So, and all the equipment in the hospital has to be guaranteed, that is every minute that it is under a CMC. That means any machine, major machine breakdown or anything happens anywhere, even the ICU, within 24 hours, the company that has taken the maintenance has to come and fix it. There are very stringent rules. I can't mention all. I think Jimmy can mention the rest of the things, because I am more into equipment.
Infrastructure involves the building and the equipments. The equipments he has already mentioned. The equipments as per NABH requirement, there has to be a certain size of all the departments, the laboratory, the ICU, and we have ensured that all the requirements are met. The second part is the patient care, to provide quality medical health. From that point of view, there are two things. One is, the kind of care that we give, the response to any critical care. When the patient comes, our response is very short. For example, we have a system which is NABH required, that is blue code. Now, if the patient comes in a very critical condition in the emergency, immediately we activate the blue code, where the instruction goes over the system, and immediately we have casualty medical officer, we have a medical specialist and 4 nurses. They run and immediately attend to the critical care of the patient. Immediately the ICU, the wards are informed about the condition of the patient. So these are the kind of things which are required as per NABH, and we have met all the requirements. We are also now NABH certified. The cost to the patient, when you compare to another NABH hospitals, I am quite sure is 40 to 50% less than other hospitals in India. And that is where it benefits our patients of Meghalaya. So there are so many other things which, for example, I'll just give you another very small example. All the records of patients in our hospital are in digital form. Now, if by chance patient loses those records, the patient can just come to our hospital, give their name, age and gender. Immediately we'll give them the duplicate. So these are all so many other things which are required by an NABH, and we have adhered to all the requirements. So there are many such. In fact, there are 150 NABH required conditions which we were asked to take care of, and within a very short period, we worked on a war footing with our employees, our staff, the management committee, the nursing superintendent, Mr. Denyan, and within a short period of 3 months after the inspection, we got the full accreditation. And that is something which I must thank all the employees. We have 15 committees to look after all the parts of the hospital functioning. Each
A year also. And that would be,
sometime for a year.
that would be amounting to approximately,
Well, I don't know the figure, but now I'll tell you another part where what is saying that sometimes a year we don't get the money. This September there was one insurance company, and from September, another insurance company has taken with MHIS. Now, those patients who we treated in July, August, we haven't got the money. Okay. When we approach them, they say, oh, now we are not part of MHIS, that insurance company. And the new one says, okay, we are still updating software, we are doing this, it will take time. Months and months. Now, all the hospitals cannot run on just ad hoc this thing. So they have to make sure, because the government has gone into agreement with a particular insurance company. The hospitals are involved and they have approved it. So they should make sure that the payment comes to the hospital. That will benefit, no? It's not about profitability of the hospital. It is about the churning of the amount so that we can give more benefit to the patients. How they greatly benefit. Number two, from a hospital point of view, again the government and the insurer who are with the insurance company which is with MHIS, they should make sure that the hospitals, all the hospitals, they get their payment back in time. And this is not happening. Because if insurance company which is associated with MHIS, if they give the payment back to hospitals in time, then the turnaround period is very short, and that actually benefits the patients. So these are the two important things I think you can carry to the government, and that will help all the hospitals. We are not talking of our only Supercare hospital.
This is not the way it's done. This is the things we have to target and to achieve perfection in hospitals. So it's okay, fine, let's go ahead and do what I have to do. So this is a sort of a dream that's come true. I suddenly realized this. So the thing is that we went through a lot, no doubt about it. And we have a fantastic team. The backbone is the team behind. It's not only me just sitting behind and saying, okay, let's go ahead, and him doing all the hard work. But there's a big team behind which we owe so much to. There are about, I don't know how many, I can't count them. And the doctors, and all the people sitting around me. I owe them a lot. My wife here, I owe everyone. I mean, there's been no negativity. Just progress and look forward to a future that's bright for them. Right? Because one day I'll hand over to someone else to run this institution. It can't, when I go, it won't end with me. It'll continue. And what happened is that over that period of time, then we slowly built up, and you see the construction still going on now. We haven't stopped yet. We're still in the process of redefining areas to comply with certain criteria set up by NABH, and they have come and inspected and said, okay, fine, this is a very good structure, no doubt about it, but you can see that it still has some scope of improvement. So that's what that Mr. Damon, he said, that we are still proceeding forwards. We have no doubt we have attained that level, but we can still be more sure that we can still give a better hospital, a much better hospital, and we can compete at an international level. All departments concerning any institution, all the consultants are here, except we don't have skin. This one, right? And ophthalm, we have only a visiting consultant. We don't have a full-fledged ophthalmology. There are a lot of ophthalmologists around, but we decided not to have ophthalmology, but we're introducing that in the near future. Those are only 2 departments. The rest, all the specialty departments are there. We have GI, we have neurosurgery, we have plastic surgery, we have urology, kidney specialists. In fact, call Dr. Amay Das. You just call Dr. Amay Das. Dr. Amay Das is a chief nephrologist. Of course, there are quite a few young Khasi doctors now coming out. Like they want to say kidney nephrologists or urologists, this, that, whatever. The main problem is that in hospitals here, we lack the infrastructure to give them the benefits and the amount of required, the equipment required. For example, if we consider neurosurgery, like, it needs pros of equipment. It's not like you're gonna have a neurosurgery department and a OT dedicated to neurosurgery, just having, like the olden days, just have 1, 2, 3 equipment. Now it's not like that anymore. So we've been associated for the last 60 years, so we are helping each other all along the way. Him in setting up the international hospital, so I was partly involved right from the beginning. And setting up this hospital also, he was involved in me. I did first he asked me to decide 99, and most of the guys in Guwahati also were trained by me. So most of the patients still go there like that. So that's the way it is. I mean, like now that we have acquired NEBH, medical tourism now comes as an aspect which you have to work on. That way you slide the MRI CD into a certain neuro navigator, and then you put these funny things gadget in the head. I went and saw myself first time. I never saw it. And it tells you exactly the position of where the lesion is, the pathology is. And it shows you on the screen. And so when the surgeon he works in it's like robotic, so, right? And so they see exactly where they're proceeding, what they're doing inside. Okay. So we have this here, I think the only private hospital this size we have. Yeah. So these sort of things like we can't tell you go to the public say we have neuro navigation. They won't understand what the hell he's talking about.
Add on that, sir.
Yeah.
So you were talking about why NABH is going to help us. Now, every talk, it not only helps the patient, it also helps even the medical fraternity as well as the paramedical staff. Why? Because we have to update ourselves with all the newer things for the benefit of the patient. Now, when you start your career, you have learned a certain set of things. And every time equipment and technology is constantly upgrading. So we have to go for our own conferences, learn from there, go for our workshops, things like that. And that way we are able to get the proper equipment that comes, which is required for a specialty hospital like us to upgrade to come to that level so that we can provide international standard care. January, I cleared my degree in 2004 December. So when I came to Shillong, there was not a hospital having a ventilator. So how would you function neurosurgery without a ventilator? So it was very difficult for me to practice in the year 2005. So those times we used to do just urgent emergency treatment and then send the patient to Guwahati. I was working at Woodlands at that time and they didn't have a ventilator. I think Nazareth might have had a ventilator. Okay, and Supercare was not there. Dr. Thank you was at Woodlands at that time. So I had to actually leave Shillong. And then I was called by the Fortis group of hospitals in Chandigarh. So I worked there for almost a year. And then being a person from Shillong, I always wanted to come back and do neurosurgery in Shillong. I was getting offers in GNRC, in Max, Delhi, and everywhere. But I preferred to come here. Even I took the interview to Nigrams that time. They didn't have a neurosurgery department at that time. So begging and borrowing, that's how I started the department, by getting minimal equipments. And then when I came back, we wouldn't have a ventilator at that time, so we started neurosurgery like that. So when you don't have the equipment, it's difficult. And then over the years, we've slowly gathered up the equipment. And I think Supercare now has the best equipment, right? In neurosurgery, when we talk about neurosurgery, we talk about your neuronavigation, your image guidance, and all these things which we all have here. So we are doing microscopes, the best of it, endoscopy. So we do all of that.